Good evening. I'd like to call the October 16th meeting of the Johnston County Board of Commissioners to order and welcome those who are here. Good to see that the room is full, see everyone here, and also those who are watching us on our YouTube live stream, welcome. And that's, I did want to make mention of the 6 priorities, as I always do, that the Johnston County Board of Commissioners established this year, and actually was a renewal from the previous year as well. But those 6 priorities are educational funding, infrastructure, financial stewardship, land use, public safety, and our county employees. And I think as you look through some of these items tonight, you will see one or more of those priorities addressed or be a part of those items. So as is customary, I did want to, I'm getting better at this now, so I did want to note that Commissioner Dickie Browse was not here. He's recovering from surgery, so he is planning on being with us at our next meeting in November. I think that's a little ambitious, but he said he's going to work to be here. And I will say, as customary, we will now open with the prayer. I've asked Commissioner Godwin to lead us in that and Commissioner Stevens to lead us in the pledge. If you would please rise.
Let us pray. Our Father God, we're thankful for the blessings of life. We're thankful for the blessings of October and the fall season. We love you, Lord, and we thank you for all the benefits that we enjoy every day and take too often for granted. We ask that you bless our meeting tonight, give us insight and wisdom to see the right things, give us courage and commitment to follow through and do the right things. Be with each one here, be with our county, be with our leadership. Forgive us our shortcomings, for it's in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Although it's not shown as the first item on our agenda, I am going to move on to the recognition of Joshua Daniel Braswell for his Eagle Scout achievement. And I believe Commissioner Tony Braswell, you have a few words to say.
Yeah, come on up,
Joshua comes on up.
Thank you. I got to say, and I have shared this with Joshua, having been in scouting in leadership 18 years, I know the dedication, the commitment, and the sacrifice that has been made to be an Eagle Scout. And it's been historically, we as county commissioners like to recognize your efforts and what you're doing as an Eagle Scout. You'll always be an Eagle. I've never seen in my life, and it's a very narrow avenue, but an Eagle Scout that hasn't been successful in commitment to what they do. So congratulations. So I would like to read a letter. Okay, first of all, it's addressed to you, dear Joshua. On behalf of the Johnston County Commissioners, I would like to congratulate you on the accomplishments of achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. This is indeed a tremendous undertaking and lifelong commitment of which you can always be proud. The Johnston County Commissioners recognize the dedication, self-discipline, and commitment needed to complete this endeavor. Talented and hardworking individuals like you will lead our county and state to success in the future. All right, and also enclosed, you will find a certificate of achievement in recognition of this effort, and it is our genuine hope that this small gesture will be a welcome addition to the memories of your Eagle Scout celebration. Congratulations once again on the accomplishment, and best wishes for your future. And it's signed by our chairman here, and certificate of achievement from the Johnston County Board of Commissioners. This certificate of achievement is awarded in recognition of the outstanding accomplishment of achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. Joshua Daniel Braswell, Troop 19, U.S. District, Tuscarora Council, Boy Scouts of America, this 60th day of October 2023, and it's signed by Chairman. And I'd like to give you this, and here is your letter. Here is your certificate, and I'm gonna give you this, and I'm gonna give you the opportunity to say whatever you like. And if you don't wanna say anything, now, since you're a Braswell, you can say something.
Yeah, we know you can talk, yeah. One little picture too, you know.
You want a picture, you want your family with you, or you want just? Okay.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
His father is a state trooper, so, he may get you when you leave.
Joshua, I'd like to ask, when is your pinning ceremony?
There's no set date for it right now, but it's
Okay.
going to be sometime in mid-January.
I wish you would make it known to this board.
All right, yes, sir.
Come on up, Doc, come on,
Mom's not gonna listen.
Mom don't wanna come?
Yeah, I'll get one, and I'll get him one, leadership here.
All right. Good. Do one just here. Good. Take a little step to your left. There we go. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, congratulations, Josh.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything we can do to help you, thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Very proud of you.
Congratulations, thank you, Dwight.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you, sir, appreciate it very
I'm an Eagle
much.
Scout dad, I know what it means to you. It does.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
sir.
gotta say that this set of eyes we're not really related, but,
You gonna claim them?
boy, I wish I need to claim them because they're from a family of pastors and preachers and good folks, and they got more money than this set of Braswell. Thank you, Dwight. See you, buddy.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you.
All right, moving on, we have as the first item is approval and discussion of the agenda. Is there any adjustments to the agenda that need to be made?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
I second it.
Yeah, we're going to add consent item D.
Okay.
That would be on the consent.
Yeah, that's on the consent, is we're going to add that, well, we're going to add it to,
Had I read the notes, I would have known that, wouldn't I?
they do prepare us well with it.
Yes, they
It's like
do.
at home, sometimes it's hard to follow
Don't follow
instructions. Yep.
So motion to approve the agenda, adding under consent item D, municipal funding agreement for the town of Selma. Now,
All right. Now hear a second.
Second it.
All right, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Agenda is approved. Next, we have the consent agenda items. We have 8 items on there, which also include adding the municipal funding agreement with Selma. And these 8 items are approval of the minutes from September 18th, our 6 o'clock meeting, some additions to the DOT street system, and we have, under finance, we have ARPA policies to aid in administering, and the acronym is just as long as the word, so I'm going to say coronavirus, state, and local fiscal recovery funds. From ARPA, we also have the bulk wastewater agreement with the town of Selma. And the 5th item is parks, greenways, and open space grant change of scope request from Archer Lodge. Item 6 is solid waste services request to surplus equipment. And then we have public utilities for our 4 million gallon a day expansion at our Central Johnston wastewater treatment facility. And there's some project numbers on there, offer and acceptance for a clean water SRF loan. And then we have appointments to our Johnston County Heritage Commission. We have 4 of those, I think that looks like there, if I added correctly. And then we also have an appointment to our Wilson Mills Firefighters Relief Fund Board. And those are all the items. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Consent agenda is approved. Get to the right spot here. Next up, we have public comments. So this is a time for anyone in the audience that wishes to come forward and address an item that is not already on the agenda to come forward and speak. We will be given 3 minutes-ish to speak to that. If you would, when you come forward, please state your name and your town or township of residence. And then we ask that you, in order to balance the need and desire of citizen input with the necessity of disposing of the board's regular business items, speakers will get 3 minutes. And I don't see that we're going to have a bunch of folks speaking together tonight, but just know that this is a time for the board to listen to comments, not a time to engage in discussion, but we are here to listen, and I would say that's a reminder for you as well as for us. So if there's anyone wishing to come forward, please come forward now.
Vern Lindquist from Johnston Community College. I'm so glad to be here this evening to talk to you, and I will be brief. I want to say I'm so glad I didn't wear my Eagle badge with me because he had 3 more merit badges than I did. And Vic and I were both looking and saying, I think his sash is longer than our sash. I want to say that you will be getting formal invitations from us for the ribbon cutting at long last of the wood building, the engineering building. Those will be coming. The event will be the 14th of November, but please be on the lookout for those. We hope to see you there. I'm here to introduce my Vice President of Continuing Education, Vic McCormick, who's going to talk to you about our partnership with 4-H out at Hallwoods.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Before I get started, I just want to thank you all for your continued support to the college, and particularly public safety. I told them I would be attending this meeting tonight, and they made sure that I send my thanks to you all for all your continued support. So we've been working with Meredith Woods, who is the 4-H agent in Johnston County, about partnering together to find a space and time for the shooting sports club. I'm happy to report, starting on March 16th from 9 to 3, the shooting team will move their shooting schedule to JCC Howard Learning Center. Currently, we're working on the cost to move the fence to allow for some clay shooting, and we also need to hire a range master that needs to be present during the time of the shooting. There also was some concerns about lead ammunition and conservation guidelines, but we're working all that out, and we should have everything ready by March 16th. So I just wanted to give you all that update. Thank you.
I'm going to break our rules.
You got-
right off the bat.
I expected nothing less. Go ahead.
So let's bend the rules a little. Not break. Let's bend them a little bit. But I do want to thank you for your efforts in working with the 4-H. I know they were displaced when we began work at the landfill site and the wastewater treatment plant. So, and I know they've been looking, and they're going to another county now, and I know that they will be excited about this and being able to stay in Johnston County. So again, thank you for your hard work in making that happen. Dr. Lindquist, same to you.
Mr. Chairman, I got one comment about that. About once a week, there's a citizen in the northern part of the county that wears me out about why we aren't using Howard Woods more. So I'm glad to hear this. That's great.
They'll save you one call a week then, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I want to thank the college. I just happened to bring it up at a meeting. I haven't done anything about it. Our chairman, he did all the work on this and working with the college, and I appreciate the college being helpful to help those young kids out to do that. It means a lot. But the chairman, he worked hard on it, and I appreciate his effort. He did a great job, and thank you for getting it ironed out. I appreciate that.
Well, I thank you for that, but I think the two parties working together got that worked out. So, but I do thank you for the kind words.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will add that the chairman, every time we'd have a phone conversation, this was one of his topics that he was passionate about. So I'm thinking that we can mark that one off the list now. So,
Yeah, just like I have one thing off my list this today.
that's
So,
all.
yeah.
Thank you so much. We
All right,
appreciate
thank
y'all.
you. Anyone else wishing to come forward for public comment? And Madam Clerk, do we have any emails before the meeting? Okay. All right, we will move on now with our next item, which is a proclamation for Alzheimer's Disease Awareness and Caregivers Month. And I know our registered deeds, Craig Olive, has played a big role in doing that, and Craig, well, thank you for that. And I think Commissioner, or Vice Chairman Harris is going to read that proclamation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alzheimer's Disease Awareness and Caregivers Month proclamation. Whereas Alzheimer's disease is a progressive degenerative disease of the brain causing deterioration in memory and thinking, as well as judgment and reasoning ability. It also affects behavior, emotions, and the ability to perform self-care. And whereas Alzheimer's disease is the 7th leading cause of death in the United States, killing more people than breast and prostate cancer combined. And whereas it is the 6th leading cause of death in North Carolina and also right here in Johnston County. And whereas 1 in 3 senior citizens dies with Alzheimer's or another dementia, and more than half the Americans know someone who has had or has Alzheimer's. And whereas more than 6 million Americans now living with Alzheimer's disease, with over 180,000 of them residing in North Carolina. And whereas Alzheimer's disease affects whole families, since it's is a long-term illness that requires long-term care. And whereas over 11 million family members and friends are serving as their unpaid caregivers nationwide. 358,000 of those giving care to, are North Carolinians. And whereas an estimated of 15.3 billion hours of care valued at nearly $257 billion will be provided to those with Alzheimer's and other dementias in 2021. And whereas in 2021, the Alzheimer's and other dementias will cost the nation $355 billion. That figure could be as high as $1.1 trillion by the year 2050. And whereas with early detection and diagnosis, individuals and families can gain access to treatment, medications, enroll in critical research trials, and fully participate in planning for the future. And whereas the Johnston County Board of Commissioners recognizes individuals, families, friends, and caregivers dealing with the devastating effects of Alzheimer's disease, and the researchers who are seeking cause or causes and cure, and the educational programs and support services provided by the Alzheimer's organizations. Now, therefore, the Johnston County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim November 2023 as Alzheimer's Disease Awareness and Caregivers Month in Johnston County and urges our citizens to commend its observance. Proclaim the 16th day of October 2023. Mr. Chairman, I'll enter that as a form of a motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any comments?
I've got a comment. I'd like to thank our Register of Deeds, Craig Olive. He's been instrumental in making sure we recognize this and observe it each year. And are we having the ceremony this year, Craig?
Yes, I think November the 2nd.
Okay.
On the Thursday at 6 o'clock here in
Citizen Senior Services also helps put that on. And it's a beautiful ceremony. We didn't have a lot of attendance last year, and I'd like to urge the citizens out there to try to make that. It's really a touching ceremony.
And that was November the 2nd? Okay. All right. I'll give you a second.
We usually have it in the atrium here in the courthouse.
Okay. And,
second.
okay. So the 2nd, November 2nd, 6 o'clock in the atrium here at the courthouse.
Good.
And our guest MC is Amanda Daltrey.
Okay.
GDR.
Okay. All right, any other comments? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, next item is from the Finance Department, a resolution declaring official intent to reimburse expenditures for county facilities projects. And we have our Deputy Manager Chad McLam here to present that information to us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Finance requests the board to adopt a resolution declaring the official intent to reimburse expenditures related to county facility projects with any proceeds of any debt issued to finance any future facilities that we may have. This allows us to reimburse ourselves if you choose for any future debt for future facilities, and it allows us to reimburse ourselves if we need to.
All right. Any questions?
Chad, is this something generally required by a FASB rule or GASB rule or anything like that?
It is if we want to give ourselves an option to
Right.
reimburse ourselves.
Okay.
We don't have to act on it. I mean, this just gives us the option.
Right.
All right.
I move that we approve.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any Any other questions of Mr. McLam? All right, all those in favor of the motion to adopt the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. All right, next up, we have a couple items from Johnston County Emergency Services. The first is an ordinance amendment to Chapter 10 EMS, and our County Attorney Jennifer Slusser is going to present that information.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Before you have for your consideration an amendment to the Chapter 10 Emergency Medical Services chapter of the Johnston County Code of Ordinances. You had a public hearing relating to this matter at your last meeting. We received no public comment during that time. We've not received any additional public comment with regards to the proposed ordinance. The biggest change in respect to this ordinance is the deletion of the Emergency Services Committee and replaces those responsibilities with the Emergency Services Department. The reason for doing that is because all of our emergency transport services have come in-house, and the need for that Emergency Services Advisory Committee is no longer. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, and I respectfully request that you approve the ordinance amendments.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt the ordinance amendments.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion to adopt the ordinance amendments, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay?
Thank you.
Motion carries. All right, next up, we have Josh Holloman here to present to us on the EMS system franchise recommendation. Good morning,
Good evening,
or good afternoon, yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
I don't want to repeat today, so
That's all right.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity. So we do have a franchise request from Priority Care Ambulance, and it is, as a county, we are responsible for granting the franchises for the non-emergency transport companies. So basically, this allows the company to operate within the county borders. Any company can come in and pick up and take out, or bring someone into the county from some other place out of county. But to operate within the county borders, they have to have one of these franchises from the county. So as our county continues to grow and population increases and the demand for this service obviously increases with that, we feel like it's a good time to add. This would be the third non-emergency transport service for our county. We've also heard from our local hospital system who this will also benefit as they have a need to transport patients within the county. So the EMS team has looked at this application that we received from Priority Care Ambulance, and we also have the CEO of the company, Mr. Wim Masoni, is on the back row here with us as well, if you have any questions for him. But we have looked at their application. We feel like this would be a good fit as an additional service within our county, and we feel comfortable bringing Priority Care in. So we would respectfully request to approve their franchise application, and would be glad to take any questions.
All right.
I have a
Any
couple,
questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Where have they been operating? What other counties?
Would you like to speak to William?
Yeah, unless you know.
So I do. So they work in Wake County and Orange County as well.
Okay.
And we got good reports from those counties when we
Good.
talk to them as well.
Good.
You're welcome to come on.
Sure.
Good evening, Commissioners. Yeah. So, yeah, we've been operating in Wake County for 7 years now, and we're expanding, and we wanted to help out Johnston County. We've received calls from UNC, Johnston, and UNC here in Smithfield to transfer patients between hospitals because there's not enough services to provide that at certain times and stuff like that. We also received a contract that a facility wants a contract with us here in Clayton to help out, bring their patients to other facilities and medical facilities. We also operate in Orange County as well.
I do need this service. Speaking on behalf of the hospital. Thank you.
Yeah, no, no, thank you.
Any other questions?
I do have one, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Holloman, I know historically there have been off and on some wait time issues with just non-emergent transport. Is that the case now? Are we staying up pretty well with the groups we have with the addition of this? Do you think that will suffice, or is there still a significant wait time for a family?
Yeah, I do think we need this service. I think, as you said, off and on, that's a really good way to describe it. It increases and decreases, but I think it's clear that we need this service to be able to help with that.
Good.
I think that this will, at least for the time being, help us with that, but we definitely need it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the request to grant franchise to Priority Care Ambulance.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All right, if not, all those in favor of the motion to approve the request to grant a franchise to Priority Care Ambulance, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? All right, motion
Thank you for the
carries.
support.
All right. Thank you. I would add, I was going to do this later, but rather than keep the emergency services people here through a fantastic solid waste presentation, I'm going to ask Sandy Wood if she would come forward. So I had, as I was sitting at work, I think it was last week, I got a text, and Sandy is, let me make sure I got this right, she's our division chief.
Yes.
Okay, and I had some other titles on there, so I didn't know how many of those to
That's
pick
good
from.
enough.
Is that good enough for our emergency services, our emergency management team? And I got the text that she had been elected second vice president, so, of the state organization, so that is fantastic. I know the great work you do here locally, but I know that you're, on a state level, you're helping to do that same thing, so I want to congratulate you first, and I know 2 years from now, you'll be acting, I guess, 2 years as president, so.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. That's the plan. So congratulations on that. And I didn't know if there was anyone else want to comment.
Having worked around you for many years, and I just appreciate your commitment to excellence in emergency management, Johnston County's in good hands, and I know that you'll bring a lot to the state association as well. And so we just appreciate it. We're very proud of you and all you've accomplished, and the entire department with Director Hubbard and the EMS division. We're just so blessed to have great people responding to the emergencies and taking care of the people of this county, and we're thankful. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And we couldn't do what we do in emergency services without the support that we have and the care that you have for our citizens here. So thank y'all.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. Oh, we give a second for the crowd to clear here.
You know, the county's been well represented at the state associations with leadership roles. Our clerk was the head of the Clerks Association at one time, and I think maybe our Superior Court clerk was in their organization as well.
All right, next item is Solid Waste Convenience Center's presentation by Mr. Vance Moore with Garrett and Moore. And I think this is something we've been talking about for years. We finally moved towards getting away from the decals, and this is kind of the next step in that process of how we move forward with our convenience center. So, Mr. Moore.
Mr. Chairman and the rest of the board, I appreciate the opportunity to make this presentation to you tonight. And as we're talking about the Convenient Sites program and some of the options that I believe would be available to you, so I'll try to make this as concise as possible. So, in particular, Johnston County provides comprehensive solid waste management. I don't want to read everything, but this is important, and I think we need to understand it, that Johnston County is responsible for providing comprehensive solid waste management to protect human health and the environment. Comprehensive solid waste management requires collection of numerous types of waste. And Johnston County primarily utilizes convenient sites for the current collection system for these materials. So my main point is that they're a vital part of your system. Now, I believe that your convenience sites provide a benefit to all county citizens, no matter where they live, whether they be in an incorporated area, unincorporated area. All county citizens benefit from your convenience sites. They provide, first of all, they're called convenience because they provide a convenient disposal option. You have sites located all over the county. By providing a convenient disposal option, you're reducing illegal dumping. You are, when you reduce your illegal dumping, you're reducing environmental impacts. You know, you're not having waste illegally disposed in in streams and waterways and on the ground. And, you know, you're not having to deal with, say, used oil being poured into the environment or scrap tires being thrown, out inappropriately. Think about burn barrels where you have emissions from burn barrels. It reduces your roadside litter. You know, everybody would be impacted with seeing roadside litter, and having these facilities increases the recovery of recyclable materials. This is just a little figure of your county with the sites identified. You have 13 sites, and a radius is drawn around them just as a typical radius, just to show how well these sites provide access to the entire county. And these are of all the sites, these are the materials that are collected. So you can see every site collects all the materials. The highlighted in blue are the materials that require a decal currently. So only people that purchase decals can get rid of what we call household garbage or bulky waste, the things that go into your compactors at the convenience sites. Everybody else in the county without a decal can do every other material that's highlighted on here. And we've done some analysis of your current system, where you are right now, and the annual cost of your current system is approximately $4 million a year. Now, of that, about $3 million covers the staffing of the sites, the hauling of the materials, the recycling of the materials, including appliances, scrap metals, electronics, scrap tires, etc. About $1 million a year is the cost to haul and dispose of the compactor and bulky waste. Now, since you have to have a decal to use those, that material is produced by currently the last projections. You had about 13,345 purchasers of your decals. Now, that $4 million a year that are currently being funded does not provide significant capital improvements. There, very minor capital improvements are allowed in that budget. So I am recommending, your current funding mechanisms. Where does the money come from? Well, landfill tip fees are providing about $1.9 million, almost half of this has come from the tip fees. Now, it's provided as far as free disposal in the landfill. That, in other words, the cost of the program is not paying for the disposal of the material collected. They're also providing cash above and beyond that value. And I believe that the tipping fee is an enterprise fund, and that it should only pay for those activities that are associated with the design, construction, and day-to-day operation of the landfill. So it is just my opinion that having the convenience sites funded by the tipping fee is something that you should consider changing. The general fund historically has also contributed about $400,000 annually to the operation of the site. State funds and other miscellaneous revenues are about $400,000, and decals are about $1.3 million from the sales of the decals. And some of the issues with your current facilities is that the access to it. For instance, sometimes it is difficult for the users of the facilities to get into a site, particularly if they are changing out, let's say, a compactor. It stops the access in and out. Everything has to stop, and you sometimes have backup into the road. It's a dangerous situation. Traffic, you want to consider one way in, one way out. It has a better flow. Consider turn lanes potentially on your highways to improve some safety. Now, what I'm proposing is upgrades that you should consider. And there's one or two options that I think either one of them could be very successful. One of them would be to upgrade your existing 13 sites as needed. And the other option would be to replacing a number of these sites with what I consider mega sites. In other words, you may consolidate two sites into one larger site. I do not think it is an all number one or an all number two, potentially. I think they could be blended. There may be a number of sites that are adequate, they work well where they are. There are some sites that you may want to consider, for instance, lease sites or sites you don't own. You may want to consider moving to a situation where you do own them. And the way I recommend that you would execute that plan, how to fund it, is to do what is called either an annual solid waste fee or a household fee added to the tax bill. That is a method that is easy to administer. It would apply, if accepted, it would apply to roughly 90,200 households. That was our latest projections from your staff about how many households were in the county. And just foot of note, about 22,400 of those households are from within incorporated areas, about 25%, and around 67,800 of those households are from the unincorporated areas, for about 75%. Now, the goals of this fee, if you were to go with this method, it would be to collect adequate funds to eliminate funding from the landfill enterprise fund. I've discussed that, and I think that is one of the recommendations I think you should strongly consider. I think you should eliminate funding from the general fund. I think that you should provide adequate capital to either improve your current sites or build new sites. I believe that you should also consider adding budgets for a roadside cleanup crew that would police the roads within the county for cleanup. And last but not least is eliminate the decals altogether. I think that should be your goals of the program. And with that, I will answer any questions that you may have.
No, I would just say the elimination of decals, that process is, we're phasing that out now. So I think what is the percent they're paying now if they were to get a decal?
5% a quarter drop.
Okay, it drops 25% a quarter, so July 1 of next year, decals, there will be no decals. Okay, just want to make sure I got the dates right on that. Yeah. So we got one of those checked off, or in process of being checked off now, so. All right. Any questions for Mr. Moore?
I guess the proof will be in the pudding when we talk finance with staff. Gets all that done, I guess that will be, because right offhand I see 1.3 million going away on the decals, so that's going away. So anyway, I think we got a lot to talk about in the financing area. You know, your goals are great. You know, I think if we can get in that direction.
Yes, sir.
In my opinion, I know a lot of people have expressed to me the aggravation of the decals, and that's not what's driven my desire to get this changed. I just think the system's broken as it has been because we've got restricted access to where we want people to put their trash. And you see it, this is not going to stop the McDonald's bags get thrown out the window, but hopefully it'll stop the piles of garbage and garbage sacks that wind up on roads like Jerusalem Church Road and Futrell Road. But I just hope as we approach this change, we don't create a similar situation. For example, a mega site, if we make it too inconvenient, we're still going to have that problem. I like the way we've got it spread around the county right now, but we'll cross that bridge.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the things you're talking about, the McDonald's bags are trash bags themselves.
Yeah, they're
Is with
trash
that
bags.
road crew, that will help alleviate some. I know that's, we often hear about, get complaints about trash alongside the road, and so I think this will be one of the things we can use to lessen that problem. And so I guess, at least for me, I mean, I appreciate the report, but we need to figure out those next steps of what is that combination of improving the sites we have and looking at creating more of the mega sites or some consolidation owning property. So is that something that Rick, that staff can get together with Mr. Moore and work on the next step of this process so we can begin to see what the best plan is, the cost, and then that helps us hone in on what that fee needs to be able to do that. So, any other questions or comments?
I certainly appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Oops. All right, next up we have manager reports and comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. I wanted to also mention that Ms. Andrews is here, our tax administrator, and I think for her, she would need to kind of know the numbers by about February to be prepared for the next year tax bill, if that's the direction you go.
So if Mr. Moore's still listening in the hall, he needs to go ahead and get working on it hard there. Okay. I saw him, yeah, he saw that. He looked back in, so he knows.
Yes, sir. I just have one thing tonight. Back in last year when the Board of Commissioners approved the pay study, and one of the things that was talked about there was for our team to evaluate half the employees in 1 year and then half the next to make sure that we are staying in the marketplace. And so we have funds budgeted in this budget year that we're in now, but we felt like it was important for transparency to come to the commissioners and share about that and update you. In the minutes, it talked about to review it, and before we implement it, we just wanted to feel like we needed to do a report. And I think next year and then after that, we'll have some information earlier in the process, in the early part of the budget that we can share, and I think it'll work. So if you don't mind, I'd ask for Ms. Hickey to kind of give you a brief overview.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As Rick mentioned, it was last April of 2022 that we talked about doing the alternate plan year. And this was the first year we did it. We have about 400 position titles within the county. So we took 200 of those positions, and the first 200 of those positions ended up being about 2/3 of the county employees in those positions. So this year's adjustment and total is probably a little higher than it would be simply because it covers so many employees. Some classifications needed adjustments. There were some that did not. And so not everybody's going to get it. That's the beauty of having it on an alternate year plan, that if it's not this year for you, it may be 2 years down the road or another year down the road. We did have some classifications that cross multiple departments, such as a social worker, for example. We have social workers in DSS and we have social workers in public health. So those are positions where we couldn't just pull social DSS. We then had to look at the health department as well. So same goes for administrative positions, some technology positions, accounting positions. If they crossed over a department, we pulled in everybody from those departments. So we didn't want somebody in one department getting an increase and someone in another not, simply because they did the same job in a different department. So the departments that were included in this year's study was the 911 Communications Department, Child Support, Emergency Services, Public Health, Sheriff's Office, Social Services, and Technology Services. And after discussion with the county manager, we also included the HR department because we were having some staffing challenges. So we've incorporated all those to that. So if there are questions or anything on that, we would be glad to answer them. Oh, I'm sorry. Total cost if for implementation,
not including reimbursements, would be 1.49 million for this year, and that's with an effective date of November 1st. And if we get the reimbursements, which we tend to anticipate, the net cost to the county would be $896,000. And that does include vacant positions that we have available in the Social Services Department, as well as our detention center and throughout the other agencies. So we did try and incorporate all those positions. So, any questions?
When you talk about reimbursement, what kind of time cycle are you talking about typically?
Time cycle for the reimbursement, Chad, can you help me out?
Usually, we would get it within the current fiscal year.
Okay.
We just have to submit it.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to do this because I think it's important. Serving on the DSS board, we are really in the weeds of trying to attract people with the Medicaid expansion, with the trying to hire additional folks. This is really going to be an important part of that. We've had some real struggles trying to hire people, as you're well aware of.
Yes, sir.
And so I think this should fix that problem, and I welcome the change. So thank you so much for doing
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir.
Can I add one thing on that?
Sure.
So just to clarify, so on an annual basis, if it was annualized, it would be about 2.2 million, but you got the reimbursements coming in primarily for DSS. But as Ms. Hickey said, based on a November 1 start, you're looking at about $1.5 million gross with reimbursements of about $896,000. So we just want to make sure everybody had those numbers. And we have the funds in the budget for it. We just felt like it was important to report that.
What do you need to move forward?
Which we just, if there's no objections, you know, we were planning to move forward. We just wanted, the minutes said it would be reviewed.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if there's the board's okay and concurs with that, we would implement November.
Okay.
And I think each year we can come back with the situation and share it with the board early in the budget process, discuss it. There may be years we might not be able to do everything. It just depends, you know, so, but if there's no objections, we would move forward in November.
Well, Rick, if you go through this election, you got to continue on the other half, right? You have to go
Yes, sir.
forward.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
there's
That's the
no,
plan. Yes, sir.
there's no choice, right?
I was really meant down the line.
Okay, yeah.
Just in case, you know.
I think the whole point of the process, if I remember correctly, we geared it this way so that we don't ever find ourselves in that position we were, where it cost us $6-7 million to get people up to where they're supposed to be. I mean, if you just maintain it, then we don't ever find ourselves so far behind again, and then we don't become a training ground for other locations, which we were, and we've stopped now due to this board's actions on, you know, making those adjustments. And so now we just we're maintaining it. That's what this is.
And then
part
you've
of.
got other cities and counties that have been doing these studies too, so it's been anyway.
I think it ties in also, you know, the chairman is always very good to remind us of the board's priorities, and one of those priorities is the county employees. You know, the service that we deliver to the citizens is you know, it's so important. It relies on good county employees and them going out and doing a good job for the people, and that's what we're all here for. And so
I think too, you might have mentioned this, but I think Ms. Hickey's going to meet with those department heads as well prior to the implementation. So,
good. Thank you.
Sounds great.
Thank you all.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. All right, now it's time for board reports and comments. Commissioner Godwin?
I got several things, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to ask Adrian, when is the hike coming up? Is that Saturday or Saturday week?
And it's Saturday on the 21st, from 4 to 8.
4 to 8, that's Shrek.
Starts at Shrek and goes all the way to the new amphitheater.
Right.
So, Mr. O'Neill, would you come over here and kind of tell us what the hike is and repeat that
Yeah.
so folks can
We all
can
got
hear
an
that?
email about it, but I wanted to
Yeah,
refresh
yeah,
my
yeah.
memory.
Thank you for letting me come up. The hike is a walk and talk with the Friends of Johnston County Parks, and it'll start at Shrek or Smithfield Recreation and Aquatic Center, and it's about 2.3 miles, if I'm not mistaken. You can ride a bike or you can walk it. We will have shuttles. JCATS is going to shuttle folks back to Shrek after the hike is over. And obviously we'll have whoever wants to will get to talk at the amphitheater. And it's a new amphitheater facility for Smithfield, so it's exciting to be able to use it. And we hope to have a good crowd out. Last year we had about 70 folks when we hiked in Clayton. And if we have that same crowd, it'll be really good. We got it on Saturday this year. It coincides with North Carolina Trail Day. And this is the year of the trail in North Carolina. We've had a lot of legislation from the North Carolina legislature that has given a lot of funding to trails across the state, finished the trails programs and things like that. So we're really excited about what's going on, and hope to see it really boom in Johnston County. We've got a lot of good plans going on, and this is just a way to promote that and promote knowledge of the Friends Group.
Great.
Thank you. Other things?
The thing that we were just talking about, salary compression, give you a quick testimony. A year and a half ago or so, I was dealing with one of the department heads as a citizen. I needed and it involves inspections, I won't mention the department, but there was a lag time. I had to wait a long time to get things done. And I talked with that department head recently, and he was totally different. He said now he's got staff in place, they're trained, they know what they're doing, so it's paying off. And the last thing I want to mention is I've got a green light on my front porch at home. So I want to encourage all the citizens to make sure you have the green light out for veterans between now and Veterans Day. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Hester, Mr. Harris, I was thinking of him next. But, so you tell us the county plans for that?
On the county buildings, the plan is to be in that October 26th timeframe, which is coming soon.
Next Thursday.
To have those county facilities with the green light.
All right.
Through, I think it's the 12th of November sometime in there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I found mine the other night. I found the green. Yeah. I was getting ahead of schedule. I thought it was October 1st, so I was getting ahead of schedule.
It was October 1st.
Oh, was it? Okay, then there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. All right. Vice Chairman Harris?
No, sir, thank you.
No, sir.
No, sir.
I will just say that we are still looking for our retreat for next February. I think where we usually go is booked, so we're still looking at the week of February. I think it's the 12th through the 23rd. Those 2 weeks with not Valentine's Day. We've had requests to make sure that for our spouses we don't do Valentine's Day and mess that one up. So. But we're still looking at those dates and an actual location for that, so we're still working on that. I think, Ms. Chester, do you have information availability for all the commissioners yet? I was going to say if they don't, we can make sure for those 2 weeks you get him that information.
I think what we need to do is reach back out to the board. I know there was some conflicts with each one. And originally, I think the thought was a Thursday-Friday combination.
Yeah, like the 15th and 16th or something.
I don't know that it might have to be 2 other days, or just the way people count. We'll start over, reach out. Of course, get up to Mr. Braswell as well. So,
okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I would just make sure that I'd love for it to be the 15th, 16th, but I'd like for it to go ahead and get it down on the book so we can get it on everybody's calendar and before other spaces get taken. So. All right. Well, that was really all that I had. We do have a need to go into closed session. I do not anticipate that there will be any action taken tonight after that closed session. So do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move the board go into closed session for the following purposes: to consult with an attorney employed by the board in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to NCGS 143-318-11A3, to establish or instruct staff concerning the negotiations of the price and terms of a contract concerning the acquisition of real property pursuant to NCGS 143-318-11A5, and for the purpose of personnel pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A6.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We will go into a closed session after a few minutes to clear the boardroom.